Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to be stuck in a cycle of poverty their entire lives, while others, who might have started with even less, manage to build incredible fortunes? Is it just luck? Is it fate? Or is there something deeper at play, something powerful enough to completely rewrite a person's destiny? This is a question that haunted a young man named Jay. Jay lived in a small, quiet village. Every single day, he worked from sunrise to sunset. He tilled the fields, carried heavy loads, and did whatever it took to earn a meager living. But no matter how hard he worked, nothing ever seemed to change. He was still poor, still struggling, and still dreaming of a better life. His most common thought was, "If only I had more money, everything would be different." He would say this over and over, but the thought never led to action. It was just a wish floating in the air, powerless. He felt trapped, as if his future was already written in stone by a force beyond his control. Then, one day, a car he'd never seen before drove into the village. Out stepped a man named George. Jay recognized him immediately. George was from the same village, and Jay remembered him as a boy who had even less than he did. But now, George was dressed in fine clothes, looked confident, and radiated success. He had become a well-known businessman. Curiosity got the better of Jay, and he approached George. "How did you do it?" Jay asked, his voice a mix of awe and desperation. "What's the secret to escaping this life?" George smiled warmly. "There's no magic secret, Jay," he said. "The change didn't happen around me. It happened inside me." He explained that for years, he was just like Jay, blaming his circumstances and waiting for a miracle. Then, a traveler gifted him a book. One sentence in that book hit him like a lightning bolt. "Poor people say, I can't afford it. Rich people ask, how can I afford it?" That simple shift in language changed everything for George. It flipped a switch in his brain. He realized that "I can't" was a dead end, a full stop. But "how can I" was a beginning, a question that demanded an answer and sparked creativity. From that day forward, George stopped waiting and started creating. He didn't have money, but he asked himself, "How can I start a business with nothing?" The answer he found was simple: a small tea stall. He borrowed a kettle and a few cups. But he didn't just sell tea, he added value. He would share inspiring stories he'd read with his customers. People started coming not just for the tea, but for the positive energy. He was incredibly disciplined with his earnings. He didn't spend every penny. Instead, he saved a portion and invested it back into his small business. He bought more cups, then a better stove. He spent his evenings reading books on business and finance, learning everything he could. He wasn't just working hard, he was working smart. He learned how to manage his money, how to serve his customers better, and how to spot opportunities. Soon, his tea stall grew into a small general store for the village. He knew what people needed because he listened. He then expanded, setting up similar stores in nearby villages. His biggest leap came when he realized the unique crafts and produce from his village could be sold to a much wider audience. He learned how to use the internet and started selling his village's products online, taking local goods to the global market. He was no longer just a village shopkeeper. He was an entrepreneur connecting his community to the world. As George finished his story, a profound realization dawned on Jay. He had been looking at it all wrong. He thought the problem was the lack of money in his pocket. But George showed him that the real poverty, the most dangerous kind, was the poverty of mindset. It was the "I can't" thinking that had kept him trapped, not his circumstances. George didn't wait for a lucky break or a winning lottery ticket. He changed his thinking, which led him to change his actions, and those actions compounded over time to create his success. Jay finally understood the chains holding him back weren't made of iron. They were made of his own limiting beliefs. He realized that his future wasn't written by fate, but by the daily questions he asked himself and the beliefs he chose to hold. The power to change his life had been within him all along, waiting to be unlocked. Because when you truly change your thinking, you inevitably change your life. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you unlock your own potential.